Survivor Season 44's concluded, which means that the first season of the On Fire with Jeff Probst podcast is also in the books, and there are several aspects of the program worth considering. There are many unofficial Survivor podcasts, and some of them have been around for over a decade. However, there wasn't an official companion podcast until Season 44, when CBS introduced On Fire with Jeff Probst. The first season of Jeff's podcast covered a different topic after every Survivor 44 episode. The podcast is co-hosted by Jeff's fellow Survivor producer Brittany Crapper and television producer Jay Wolf. The team would cover a different aspect of Survivor production during every week of Survivor 44. Though Season 1 of the podcast was very informative in terms of revealing behind-the-scenes aspects of Survivor, some of Jeff's opinions also led to debates on social media. That made the podcast a bit controversial. On Fire with Jeff Probst's topics were wide-ranging, but there are some key takeaways to be found. 8. There will never be a first boots. Survivor Season 1. Thing Jeff made abundantly clear during On Fire is that a first boots Survivor season's never going to happen. Jeff said that it's an idea he constantly gets pitched by fans. However, he explained why he doesn't think that a season of players who were voted out first would make for an appealing product that CBS could market. He also expressed doubts that there would be enough compelling first boots to make a decent cast of competitors. 7. Jeff believes twists are necessary for Survivor throughout the podcast's run. Jeff reiterated his philosophy that Survivor needs to constantly experiment to remain interesting. Jeff acknowledged that there are many fans who are Survivor purists. Those viewers don't like it when the show adds more and more twists and advantages. However, he maintains his belief that the show must constantly evolve. He even said that he'd rather the show get cancelled because he experimented too much as a showrunner, rather than it getting axed for being too stagnant. 6. Survivor challenges are planned months in advance. Jeff also used the podcast platform to shut down conspiracy theories that challenges are designed to benefit certain players, which are put in the game at specific times, in order to benefit production's favorites. In a challenge-focused episode of the podcast, Jeff and his co-hosts outlined the months-long process of designing and implementing challenges. They are scheduled far in advance of filming. 5. Jeff admits some twists were failures on a podcast episode about controversial Survivor twists. Jeff went through a list of some of the show's twists, and acknowledged that a few of them didn't work out. Specifically, he admitted that the change history twist, also known as the hourglass twist, and do or die from seasons 41 and 42, was poorly implemented. Interestingly, though, he defended the panned edge of extinction idea, and even claimed that he'll bring it back on future seasons. 4. Final Four firemaking is here to stay. In the episode about controversial twists, Jeff also made it clear that the contentious Final Four firemaking challenge isn't going anywhere. His viewpoint on the format remains unchanged, despite the criticism that Survivor fans and former players have voiced. Jeff believes that the format gives great players a better chance to win, and had rather have fire-making than a Final Four vote. In controversial fashion, Jeff mischaracterized the response to Season 43's fire-making result, which led to some backlash, including comments by former player and Hollywood screenwriter, Rafe Judkins. 3. Survivor is a massive production. One of the biggest points made on the On Fire with Jeff Probst podcast is that it takes a massive effort to produce a Survivor season. Between creative planning, casting, challenge design and production, audio production, coordinating filming schedules, and editing a season. It takes hundreds of crew members to make Survivor happen. Jeff's podcast emphasized that the gargantuan task is only possible due to the incredibly hard work of a number of people across many departments. 2. Jeff Probst is very resistant to criticism. Unfortunately, one of the disappointing elements of the podcast was Jeff's attitude toward criticism of the show. Though he begrudgingly acknowledged that some twists were failures, Jeff's discussions about the negative reception to twists and advantages often seem to imply that viewers who criticize the show don't actually love it. He even quoted a discussion he had with a family on vacation in Hawaii, who said they don't criticize the show because they just love Survivor, implying that critical fans don't. Jeff's attitude toward criticism was an odd and contradictory aspect of the first season of On Fire. On the one hand, he would acknowledge past bad twists. He even discussed a potentially disastrous idea that he almost implemented, only to be talked out of it by former player and the White Lotus creator, Mike White. Despite owning these specific missteps, however, Jeff expressed a fair bit of resentment toward viewers who are critical of the amount of twists and advantages in the show. 1. Jeff Probst still loves Survivor even if his philosophy on the Survivor format isn't always popular. The On Fire with Jeff Probst podcast illustrated that Jeff truly loves and cares about Survivor. Although he's been hosting the show for 23 years, and has served as a producer for over a decade, Jeff's still dedicated to Survivor. Through discussing the show's behind-the-scenes elements, Jeff made it clear how much he values the production team. He treasures the many relationships and bonds that have formed throughout Survivor's production. He may have some off-the-wall ideas, but even when they don't work out, it's clear that he's always acting in what he believes to be the best interest of Survivor.
Love in a modern world is fake when love was meant for joy too. When I find you, I hear that somehow we lie. Love in the modern world, it is fake when love was meant for joy. I know that he hurt you. Your 5 inches of heart is human. Can you be sure? No.